Get ready for a new way to unwind and uplift your spirit. Prepare to immerse yourself in the shades of hue coloring for relaxation and reflection. This upcoming book goes beyond beautiful designs. It's a source of daily inspiration. Discover uplifting affirmations tailored for each day, fostering positivity, resilience, and personal growth in every stroke of color. Even for those who may not see themselves as artists, this book is crafted to help you be present in the moment, focusing on the creative process itself. Don't miss out on the opportunity to experience the transformative power of Shades of Hue. Click on the link provided to be among the first to know when this empowering coloring book is available.
Happy Sunday, everyone. It is Sunday, 5 p.m. You know what that means. I am your amazing host for this segment today. For those that just joining in today, my name is Beverly Johnson, your health coach and trainer for Fit. Oh, and I dropped my phone. Fit and Fierce. I am located here in the sunny, balmy, overcast city of Huntsville, Alabama, home of all things government. The illustrious Alabama Agriculture and Mechanical University, who beat Alabama State University in basketball yesterday. Hey, is what it is. We are happy. We are excited. But more than anything, I have an amazing guest today. When I met this beautiful spirit, we connected off the rip. And then on top of that, she is a member of the most amazing, dynamic sorority of all times. And I know you're wondering which one. There's only one, baby. The devastating divas of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And it is Sisterhood Month. So without further ado, I bring you our guest, the amazing Reverend Sheila Spencer.
Hello, my sister, beautiful. My soror.
Hi, Soror. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I see you are donned in all your amazing red and white today.
And some sunshine. So, yes.
I'm here for it all. I am here for it all.
Thank you. That's my baby.
So before we get into this.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about yourself.
I am Reverend Sheila P. Spencer. I say that the motto for my life is I'm blessed to be a blessing. The foundations of my life are my faith, my family, and my friends. I have a passion for travel. I have a passion. I'm a foodie, unashamed. I'm a foodie. I'm a traveler. I am a writer. I'm a speaker. And I say in this next part of my life, I want to live out every gift that's inside of me, every piece that's inside of me. That's what I'm giving as my assignment. And I also give as my assignment to others. Live out every piece of your life so that when it comes to the end, every gift that has been poured into you, you have worn it out. You have poured out everything.
I know we often say that, you know, we're living out loud, but what does that look like for you?
For me, living out loud is what you just held in your hand. It's this. It's living out loud is fighting perfectionism. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Hi, my name is Sheila. A lot of times we wait for things to be perfect, but my thing is I'd rather have a flawed plan that's carried out than a flawless plan that's never brought to fruition. So one of the things I tell people is live
say
your
that
life
again for the folks that say that again for the folks that missed it.
Exactly. I say that a flawed plan that is carried out is better than a flawless plan that is never brought to life.
And I think sometimes we get stuck. It is easy to get stuck in the minor.
Exactly.
And I will say that, over the last few years, becoming considered now a digital creator, it's easy to hold yourself back because you will get caught in the spirit of comparison, where XYZ has this and this and this, and this person does this. But you also have to remember that XYZ, this is their full-time job. They have a team behind them. And so their content and yours, they're never going to look the same. You don't have somebody editing and doing all the things. So you will get caught up in trying to live up to somebody's curated content.
And there's only a flavor that you can bring. Even with all the assistance other people may have, there's a flavor that only you can bring. And one of the things someone was telling me is, but so many people are doing something, this content, or so many people are doing the same subject. Should I do it? And the comparison, I remember someone said, when you go into the grocery store, do you just see one brand of bread? You see all of these brands of bread, and they are all collaborating, and somebody's buying one, somebody's buying the other. So there's only something that only you can give and offer. And I resonate with, especially when we compare ourselves. And yeah, we're each individual. The beauty thing is God made us. We're all created. I say you were born an original, so why live your life as a copy?
Exactly.
No one can be you but you. So yeah, and that brings flavor to the world. But I agree with that. Comparison and perfectionism stops a lot of things.
Perfectionism will stop you in your tracks each and every time.
And you think you're doing something good.
To the point where if you won't even get started because you're stuck in perfectionism.
Perfectionism paralyzes you. Perfectionism paralyzes you. And the tricky thing about perfectionism, it appears to be a good thing. Well, I really want to do my best product, so I need to really just wait until it's perfect. And I found that, and I tell young people this, there's no perfect time. Waiting for the perfect time, you need to start it. And everything that we have that's created started, someone just have to start it. So I really go by that flawed plan carried out is better than a flawless plan that's never brought to fruition. So yeah.
Because your flawless plan is still flawed.
Come on.
Because you've never encountered, in the time you're going to waste trying to anticipate every scenario, you're not going to anticipate every scenario.
Exactly. And my little joke would be, even with journals and things I've printed, I said, you know what? There's always someone that looks for mistakes. So I made sure that you're included in this, so you would find something. So just making it as a joke, but at the same time, not letting the little details stop you, because perfectionism paralyzes us. And there's so many projects that are waiting to be birthed, but they're frozen. People are literally frozen, waiting for the right.
You know what I had to learn about people who offered unsolicited feedback, where it was, well, you know what, I get it that there are some blind spots that I may have missed, but hey, I'm learning. But hey, let's compare apples to apples. Tell me about your creative process and how you felt when you were making yours. I would love to hear about how you did yours. Oh, I didn't make one. I know.
And I love that. And I think it's important to surrounding yourself with people, and comparison, and I think collaboration is so important. So I find someone that's flowing the way you want to flow. No jealousy, no insecurity. Find someone that's flowing the way you want to flow and connect with them. Hey, how did you do this? Or just being in their space. And though that's one of the things I really love about this collaboration with all the wonderful work you're doing, but just finding myself collaborate. And that's been the key, collaboration. Not competition. We can get so much farther together.
And you will know when the person you're seeking is in a healthy space because they don't mind.
They don't mind.
I have been in spaces where it's like, if you have a chance, I'd love to just kind of sit with you to get your process. And you can start going, well, I just, and you want to say it's okay to say no. It's okay, because helping you show up as you are takes nothing away from me.
Exactly. I
It
love that
takes
one.
nothing
Nothing.
away from me. As a
Lighting
matter of
another
fact,
candle doesn't dim you. That's it.
as a
Lighting
matter of
another
fact,
candle doesn't dim.
it offsets something that you've been given to assign to do that I was holding at that moment. It's like, okay, well, I've offloaded to whoever was assigned to do it. Now I have more capacity for me. Because a lot of times your ideas and the things you're given, they're all not for you. Some have been legitimately given for you to pass on to the next
Come
person.
on. Knowing your assignment, knowing what to keep, and knowing what to pass on. And like I said, collaboration always win. And that's one of the lessons I learned. Collaboration. We can all win.
Mhm.
We can all win. So I love
Mhm.
that. Collaboration is key for me. Yeah, that's
Every
part of my story.
single
Collaboration.
every single time. Now, y'all, we're gonna get to what she's really here. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. Now, in our conversation, and when we first met, I found out that you are a student of the author of my favorite book, Rest is Resistance. I When I read that book, it was like it stopped me
It did.
when the Nap Bishop said, "Rest is my birthright," because it is so counter to this grind culture.
Exactly.
And in your capacity, how would you define rest and wellness in this grind culture?
Mhm. It definitely is resistance because we are, even from being a child, we have this, you got to work hard, you got to work hard. And especially within my context, being a person of color, one of the things I was raised with, you're going to have to work twice as hard to be just as good. You don't want people to think you're lazy. You got to work
Mhm.
hard. You got to work hard, and we reward it. We glorify. I stayed up 24 hours straight to finish this, and we say it as if it's a badge of glory. And that's the culture that we live in. We live in a fast-paced culture. So we actually glorify the fact that we've worn ourselves out. We live in this culture of go, 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 go. And one of the things that I appreciate about rest as resistance. It's resisting all of that culture. It's resisting the rush. It's resisting the grind. It's literally stamping in the face because a lot of times when we talk about self-care, it's almost as if we feel guilty about it. I
Mm.
say rest is resistance by stamping not guilty. Not guilty. I did that just came to me this morning as I was meditating. Rest says not guilty. It overturns that guilty decision, not guilty, because the world deserves the best of us, not what is left of us. So you have to resist that culture. And part of that is doing revolutionary things, taking time for yourself and not apologizing. I tell people the same time and energy you take taking care of someone else to make sure someone else's appointment in place, make sure
Mhm.
that you get your kid to the soccer games or whatever, is the same energy you need to put into yourself because no one is going to care for you like you will be for you. So for me, rest as resistance is stamping that not guilty when we have this guilt complex about taking care of ourselves. And how
And it
crazy
is
is that to feel guilty for taking care of yourself?
and it is so counter to everything because we're in a culture where you're sick, you go to work. And then we have to sit and listen to you hack all over us.
Come on now. Come on.
And years ago, I had a coworker look bad, felt bad, and she sat there the whole day complaining about how sick she was. And I'm thinking in my mind, because I'm the low kid on the totem pole, and I just wanted to say, why are you here? What did you have to do outside of being a martyr, so pressing, where you had to sit here and hack over all of us all day, and then remind us all day that you had to come in here sick?
And you're right. It is that just, well, I come to work every day. I'm here, but are you functioning? Are you,
Mhm.
so even when I worked, I took mental health days. And even as a supervisor, one of the things I would tell is, if you're not well, it's okay to stay at home
Mhm.
because you're not serving, you're getting other people, especially now with COVID and everything. But it's just that mentality of, it's where the guilt factor comes in.
Mhm.
Well, I'm not that, I'm going to come in, they're going to need me. I need to do this. But one matter of fact life that I tell people all the time is, God forbid if something happens, I promise you, they will have someone in the next day,
Mhm. So
even
true
same day,
story.
to do your job.
So true story. I like The Mandalorian on Sci-Fi, not
Hmm.
on Disney Plus. Love The Mandalorian, one of my favorite series. And I got up that it was a Thursday. I got up that morning, logged in, looked at my calendar. Yeah, I ain't doing this today. And I sent a text, I sent a message, hey, I'm going to be out today. They were like, is anything wrong? No, nothing's wrong. I sat in my robe, in my jams, in bed, and finished the season of The Mandalorian. And I felt so content with myself, where then I got up like, I feel like I would take a nap. Nap it is.
Yeah, it is.
And I was just like, yeah, life is complete. And so a friend of mine, she was like, yeah, I didn't see that you were logged on Teams. I said, I took the day. She was like, is everything okay? I said, I took a mental health day.
Thank you.
And I have one scheduled every month this year.
I love it.
I put a mental health day every day this year, every month, so I can rest my nerves.
And it's the intentionality that I appreciate about that for you, that
Mhm.
just as you are as intentional about making a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment or a therapist appointment, you have to be just as intentional about putting it on the calendar. Are you available? No. I would do meetings for myself, self meetings from 3 to 4. And when I calendar events, are you available? I'm like, no, and it would literally be on my calendar meeting, but it would be more so for me. No, I am not available. So learning, and I teach people learning to do it in increments, even if it's 15 minutes, even if it's 10 minutes, but giving yourself that time. But I love how you talk about the intentionality, and part of the resistance is the intentionality of making rest a priority.
Well, see, my therapist pulled my card one time. And I love, and I think there's something to be said about having a therapist that looks like you, because there's a certain level of communication and freedom that comes with the dialogue. And I
Exactly.
was telling her that I had to go on travel, I had to do this and this. And she said, so the only time you take leave is when you got stuff to do. And I was like,
Yeah. A good therapist will do that.
and I was just sitting there like,
It just snatched.
and she said, oh, and she gone. She was like, because I hear you doing all this other stuff, but I have yet to hear you say, I'm taking some time for myself. Why is that? And I said, did you have to do me like that? She said, I snatched all your edges. You
Oh,
did.
all of them gone.
You
Gone.
did.
And that's a form of self-care too.
Mhm.
And that's a whole other conversation
And
about my
so
mental health in
she
10 minutes.
made me, before I left,
I
my
love it.
assignment was to sit and plan out my days.
I love it.
And when I came back from my appointment, she was like, before we go, you know what I'm getting ready to ask you. And I was like, I have them right here.
Yes. We
I
have to
have
be
it here.
consistent and intentional, and consistent, intentional. And the other piece that reminded me of your therapist is accountability. Sometimes I talk about that in the book. Self-care, having someone accountable. I had a friend, I said, just text me rest anytime during the week.
Mhm.
Don't tell me when. But part of the reasons why I literally sometimes would do something for myself is, oh, my friend's going to text me and ask me what I
Mhm.
did. I need to make sure I do something. It sounds kind of backwards, but it really worked. Like, oh, wait, no, let me just stop and let me catch this
I
matinee.
know
Let me binge this.
I
I
know
love
when
it.
I go see her, I know I have to be prepared to
I love
answer
it.
all my assignment questions that she gave me. And
I love it.
it's a healing thing, because her thing is, if you're telling me these are roadblocks you want to overcome, If you're telling me these are areas you want to heal, then you need to sit in it and do it.
Exactly. It is. And part of therapy is actually self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Just having someone to keep you accountable, and that's part of taking care of that spirit. Well, I think spirit therapy does all three. Takes care of
Mm-hmm.
your body, your spirit, and your soul. All
Mm-hmm.
three pieces. That's
And it
so
makes me slow
important.
down because I have a standing appointment. And even though I can do it virtually, I
Mhm.
intentionally go to her office
Me too.
because it makes me commit to it. So, in this space of our rest and our self care,
Yes.
how do we navigate with basically being on all the time connected to social media? I know in theory, because again, I read the book and you know how I feel about us in this rest ministry.
Of
How
course.
do we actively disengage when everything you do is connected to technology? How do you start?
There are, and it's that I'm going to go the consistency, intentionality, and accountability. One of the things that I have is I have on my phone. So using technology to help you use less technology is actually possible. There
Mhm.
are different apps on my phone. I have a do not disturb where it shuts down certain apps from like 10 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So there are apps that you can literally use on your phone that will shut down those other apps so you're not pinging or dotting. There are sometimes what I will do is if it's easy to get on my phone and just, look at something. My phone is in my room as an alarm, but what I did, someone said, meditation before media, prayer before posting, and silence before social.
Mm.
So what I've done is I will have a journal that's by my bed. So when my alarm goes off, I used to literally take the phone and just start scrolling. So what I make myself is meditation before media, and however people meditate, taking time to breathe. My friend is a yogi, she does breathing exercises. Um, and one of the other things I learned to do is they have another app that actually tells you how much time you spend on social media. You spent do, 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 do. And so sometimes, like, okay, I spent too much time. I need to find ways to do that. And the other intentionality that I do also is um, I can do a lot of pre-scheduling.
Mhm.
Use apps for that. So I have, if I'm doing a prompt a month, a prompt today, I have it where I can literally take an hour and just pre-schedule it. All my emails are already pre-scheduled. I take an hour to do that so that I'm not on there every day. And sometimes I do the hey, taking a break, but so a way that I use using technology. So my answer is actually I use technology to help me decrease technology in that
Mhm.
place. Um, don't let the phone be the first thing you reach for in the morning. Have a book, have a journal, have something else. I know that there's scriptures that I read that you can always pick up scriptures or a book or reflection on the phone. But what I try to do is have the paper, just have something about touching something
Mhm.
tangible and making sure that the beginning of my day, I'm intentional. So a meditation before media or prayer or have preparation, whatever you do in the morning before posting, and stillness before social,
Mhm.
or just those three things, intentionality. And it's a fight. Let me be real with you. It's a fight. So when certain people take time to fast or to fast from something, people usually fast from food. I can do that, but it's not really a struggle for me. Now, what I do is I try to fast from things that are real, fasting from social media or fasting from TV or those things, because it's a time vampire. It can
Mhm.
just it will take you down the rabbit hole. I speak from experience. Let me research this question. Let me be intentional. And I think for me, it had to be in the morning, how I started my day and how I ended my day.
So, in that vein, what are misconceptions that we have about rest? Because I know we spoke about people feeling that, you're a martyr if you do it. But what are some other misconceptions that you've encountered people having when it comes to rest?
When people talk about rest and self-care, a lot of times people have this conception that it's bubble baths and massages and frivolous things. It's not. I say that self-care is anything that revives, recharges your spirit, revives your body, renews your soul. Self-care may look different each time. Self-care may be taking time to clean your room so you can be focused and creative. Self-care may also be hiring someone to clean your room to do that. Self-care may be, I need to do some inward time. I need to binge a series and take a nap. Self-care may also be, you've been in for quite a while. You need to socialize with your friends. So I think that one of the things is we have rest, we confine rest to a certain definition. And then the other thing is, I think we see it as frivolous. And in other places, we also see rest as something we have to earn. You don't have to earn rest. I tell you, rest doesn't need an explanation, justification, nor wait for an invite. Rest is not a privilege. It is your divine birthright. It's your right. So I think confining rest to one definition and thinking you have to earn it. It's yours. You don't have to do anything. So what I say is rest should be a part of the regular rhythm of your life, not a vacation. It should be part of the regular rhythm of your life. And I remember telling people when I'm in my context of in creation, the cycle, there was a day that was for rest. So what I tell people is rest was designed to be a part of our regular rhythm. And what I do when people have that argument about, well, rest is frivolous, I said, so do you just charge your phone one time and then just let it go for the rest of the week? Oh no, I got to keep a charge. So you just get gas like one time for the rest of your life. You buy the car, get gas, and that's it. No, I gotta. Well, why do you have to do that? Because if I don't get gas, I'm gonna be out there on E. So you'll invest more in a phone and in a car. You'll be concerned with making sure that you have charging stations. We have charging stations in this car. You'll have all of these things mapped out, but you'll take more time for something that's material than the most important possession you have is self.
So, Reverend Sheila, how do we counteract when you are in a culture where you have people, for example, like Sunday's usually my rest day. And I look forward that the time is changing because part of my self-care is I love to go walking because there are nice little trails by my house.
Exactly.
I love to be out there to hear the sounds of the water, hear the birds because it grounds me. It keeps being outside keeps me grounded. And so you're in a space now where when you have people say, well, I had a chance to rest and connect, and you have somebody go, must be nice. All us ain't able. How do you counter that type of narrative other than, saying what you really want to?
I know what I really want to say. And one of the things is it's a choice. It is a choice. It is a choice. And I tell people you can start small. And I tell what gives you joy. I go, what can you do that when you do it, you lose track of time? You literally lose track of time and you literally think of nothing. For some people, it's gardening. For some people, it's taking a walk. So I tell people it's a choice. It's a choice. It's the priorities you make. And I say, well, I just can't take 2 hours. Don't take 2, start with 10 minutes. I promise you. You start with 10 minutes a day. Start it at the beginning of your day. If you need to wake up 10 minutes early, if you're a morning person or if you're a night owl, I promise you stay up 10 minutes later. Find times to fit it in your schedule. And what I often people is get someone accountable. And I can't offer myself as an accountability partner to everyone because of that. But I pushed back. I said, you are able. And then I said, what do you love to do? And getting in that conversation and just restructuring our time. But it's a mindset. It's the mindset. Giving them the, hey, you can do this, this, and this, but it's a mindset we have to change. So I'll often say, rest is your birthright. And one of the things I get people, well, all these people, Jesus did all the work. And one of my favorite things is, whether that's part of someone's faith or not, but I always use the example, is Jesus slept, took naps, went away, took breaks. There was a storm happening, and they were like, "Where's Jesus?" He was asleep. So if Jesus in all of his glory knew to rest, knew to sleep, knew to take time, who are we? And
Because
that
that's one
usually
of the
works with
jokes.
a lot of people when you call them on that, like, "Oh, wait, so he took a break and you gotta save the world?" So
Right.
yeah.
Because I have a running joke with a friend of mine, and every time it storms, he calls me
Mhm.
and he's like, "You never answered the phone." I said, "Because 10 times out of 10, I am asleep."
Exactly.
Because
Rain
I
is
told him,
sleep
I said,
weather.
because if Jesus took a nap in the middle of the storm,
In the middle of the storm.
he'd have do one too. And I said, and
Exactly.
after
I love
20
that.
years of us knowing each other, I'm trying to understand why you keep calling me in the middle of a storm.
Mm-mm.
I said, unless the
Ooh,
sirens are off, I'm good.
I
And
love
one
it.
day he said the rain started dropping. He said, "I'll just wait, call me when you wake up."
Hmm.
And that was the message I found. Call me when you wake up. And I was like, I
I love
love you
that.
and your family to bits. I appreciate your concern. But when the rain, I said, as soon as I see a cloud and the thought of rain, I'm going to sleep. I
I'm
said,
going to
because
sleep.
I said, because Jesus rested.
He did.
And if he can rest, I should be able to. I said the clothes will still be here when I wake up. Um, the clean the bathroom, it'll all be here when I wake up in the hour.
And
So in the
Jesus modeled
meantime,
that for us. Yeah, he modeled that for us. And there's
right.
something you said something so important. That's another part of rest, is you established a boundary
Mhm.
and you kept it. And that's another thing when I talk about self-care. A lot of times it's boundaries. I don't know. Boundaries. That's so important. I love how you did that.
Um, because I know you're on the road. So in our last few minutes, can you speak on this?
Thank you. This is the Gratitude Journal: Recharging Spirit, Reviving Body, and Renewing Soul. And last year, I took a year of rest and reset. And one of the things that came out of this was, everything that's in this book is what I've embodied. It's what I've experienced. It's my journey, talking about gratitude for the body, and talking about setting intention, talking about your community. Um, One of my favorite quotes is that in community, there's liberation.
Mhm.
And another one by self-care is it's an act of revolution. It's a resistance act. So what I have in here is, it's a journey. I have meditations that you can use. I have reflection questions, because oftentimes when we read something, I have people that like to have guided reflections, that
Mhm.
like to have questions to guide them. I also have people that, like me, that are free spirits, that also want to take the opportunity just to express how they want. I've been an educator over 18 years. I guarantee you, coloring was never just for kids. So there are coloring exercises, there are opportunities to take breathing exercises, and affirmations are embedded throughout, because I believe our words speak life.
Mhm. So
So this has been a labor of love.
my favorite quote in here
Talk to me.
is that caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare.
Audre Lorde. Yes, Audre Lorde, Bell Hooks, and you're going to see all my people, Toni Morrison, throughout. It is. And it goes back to what you originally asked me. Rest is a form of resistance. It's revolutionary in a sense, it's countercultural. But we have to, because the other side effects is all of the health effects: stress, heart attacks, all of these things. When we don't take care of mind, body, and soul, our mind, body, and soul pay
Mhm.
for it. So this is, yes, gratitude
So
journal.
in your journey, was this a hard lesson learned or something that you just intuitively picked up along the way in your journey? Was this something that you had to learn a hard lesson to get to this space? Or you were like, you know what? I see this path and I'm going to go this path. Or you, like the rest of us, like life. And you were like, I got to change some things.
I'm a combination of all. I remember several years ago, I had a medical procedure done. So, and I actually wrote about it in an earlier blog. So I was in a position where I had to do two of the most difficult things for me. I'm a giver and I'm a goer. I'm on the go. So during my recuperation time, after about 6 to 8 weeks, I had to do the two most difficult things. I had to be still and receive. I literally had to be still and receive. And my physical surgery was fine, but I had a mentor tell me, during this time, there's a different kind of surgery that's going to be going on with you. You're going to learn how to rest. I had to learn how to receive people coming and helping me because I really needed the help. I had to learn how to be still because my body wouldn't allow me to do things. But it was in that stillness that I had time to think. It was in that stillness I had time to receive. It was in that stillness that I have a godmother that came and told me, we were talking. She goes, how does it feel to rest? I said, at first it feels strange, like I should be doing something else. But then my body's saying, you need to rest. And then as I thought about how my schedule had been so hectic before, I told her, I looked at her and I said, I've been too busy. And she nodded her head. And Beverly, I literally burst into tears. And she held me for at least an hour.
That was your healing moment.
It was cleansing. It was cleansing. Do I still fall back? Of course. But I try to be so much more intentional. And I think one of the opportunities the pandemic offered is the pandemic, whether we wanted to or not, we didn't have the distractions. We had to slow down. But I remember that moment. It's maybe probably 7 years ago now that I think about it. But I had time to be still. And in times of being still, I remember thinking, well, what lesson am I supposed to learn? I'm going to be still. God's going to give me a lesson. And I finally got to the point where I was relaxed and I was okay being still. And then I remember a soft voice said, that's the lesson I wanted you to learn. Be still. Just be. We're human beings, not human doing. So just be. And that was the lesson that the spirit was trying to just be.
I will say I'm one of that small percentage of people that when we had to make that transition to quarantine, I was one of that small contingent that was like, bring it. I was like the Dave Chappelle meme where he was like with Rick James, bring it, because I saw what it was worth. I saw in that moment that was I was like, oh, this is that time. It's the reset.
The reset. The huge reset.
I was like, I'm here for it. There's something I'm supposed to learn in this season. I'm here. And I know friends that struggled with the thought of having to stay home. And I was like, I'm not struggling with being still. Once I mapped out my routine and figure, okay, I'm gonna walk to work at this time. I'm gonna come back in here and eat my lunch. Once I figured out how to navigate, and then I put every day. This is how I started walking and commuting every day. I will walk every day on my lunch break. I scheduled it in to decompress. I
love it. You're intentional. I love it.
And so every day I had my big headphones on. I put my little sunscreen on, and I was walking on my lunch break. I said, I got 30 minutes. Let's see how far we can make it. And that's when I discovered all my ebooks. I would listen to books and I would walk. And so that was my thing. And then I come back to my desk, back in the meetings. And so I look forward. So after a while, my soul was craving that away time. Like, oh, it's almost 11:30. It's almost that time, because my soul was, and I didn't realize how much I was craving that stillness.
Exactly.
Until it happened.
And you know, something else that happened during that time, I think I referenced it in the book, is what they call the Great Resignation, because people had time to be still and think. They were like, life is short, life is precious. I don't want to do this the rest of my life. I literally have people that wrote their resignations and started businesses.
Mhm.
I had people that made radical changes in the midst of that. So that's another thing that at birth people realize is I need to change the trajectory of my life. That took bravery, that took courage. But I think the pandemic birthed so much and it made me more intentional with my relationships
Yes, yes,
because
yes.
it made me
Where where there were friends that we
intentional.
were at. This is why I have Zoom. We would schedule dinners by Zoom, and we would
Yes,
all get together and
I
eat
love
dinner
it.
together over Zoom to stay connected.
Exactly.
So it taught me in those years and these years following that I am very intentional about nurturing my intimate circle.
Exactly.
Those that fell off, hey, life happens. But that intimate core of us, we worked hard to nurture that.
I love it.
And not just nurture, but extend grace if I didn't hear from you on a regular basis, because I understand it took an emotional and mental toll on people too. Because all of a sudden you became a full-time teacher, full-time worker,
Yes,
cook,
balancing so
laundry
much.
service, daycare. You were all the things. And so it did put a stressor on all of us. So I learned had to remember to extend grace to Reverend Sheila if I didn't hear from you all the time.
And that's thing and that's part of me for self-care, for grace. So when someone would say, because I was always the connector, that's another thing.
Mhm,
I was always the connector. I was always one, I'm going to reach out to you. Haven't heard from you. I'm the one that sends a text. And what happened to me last year is a gift is I decided I'm not going to be the strong one anymore. I don't have the bandwidth. I'm going to cocoon myself. But
mhm,
you also get to see who checks on you.
mhm,
And my other piece is when someone would say, and I tell people, when you say check on the strong friend, when you check on your strong friend, don't check with, hey, I haven't heard from you. What's
mhm.
been going on? Because that puts another layer of pressure. But what you
Right.
say is, you've been on my heart
Mhm,
and I just want to reach out to you. Hey, give me your Cash App number. Let me
mhm,
drop $5. Let me get you a cup of coffee. But when you tell someone you haven't reached out to me,
mhm,
my response is often, wait, can you move your hand like this? Can you? Okay.
mhm.
So the same hand that you used to telling me I haven't heard from you is the same hand that you could use to
Or what I
write me or
also
drop me a note. Because if I'm on your heart, well,
do
you're on
something.
my heart. It's for
Mhm.
a reason. I said, did you
Or,
pray for me? Did
or
you
what I also
send me a
do is
note?
that if you tell me, well, Beverly, I've just been covered up. I have a lot of things going on, and you are in that core, and I know the things you're working on. I further instead of going, well, if you need some help, let me know. What can I do to offload something for you?
Exactly.
What do you need help with that I can handle? Do you need me to come over and help with laundry? What is it that you can offload to me that
Hmm.
I can help take something off of your back? What you need me to do?
What you need me to do?
Do you need to
Exactly.
go order your groceries and I go pick them up? What do you need me to do that'll allow you to get some of this weight off your shoulders?
And
And
it's
part of that
intentionality.
is
I love
rest.
that.
And part of that is rest and recognizing that I don't have to shoulder all this because you're going to come back and we're going to talk about this strong woman thing
Oh, but yeah,
because
we got a whole, yes.
I'm not in the strong woman club. I dropped out in 2020. So y'all gonna have to let me know how it's going because I
Yeah.
dropped out.
I threw away the cape. I threw away the Superwoman cape. I kept the crown because I'm vain, because I like
I
the
like the
crown.
crown because mine is over there.
Yeah,
I got
crown is over. Yeah, yeah, got
divas
the crown.
always keep a crown.
Oh, you always
I
keep a
keep
crown.
but
But
I'm not in the
yes,
club, so y'all would have to tell me what's been going on because I burned my pass, I dropped my membership, I dropped them out the strong
take me
woman
off the
club.
email list. Don't want to get the
I
notification.
unsubscribed. I'm not taking me out the group me.
Take me
I
out the
don't
group
want
chat.
any of it
Exactly. I love it.
because that is a weight in and of itself. Because
Exactly.
again, when my therapist pulled my card on that, she freed me.
Mm. And liberation. And when I say self care, sometimes self care doesn't always feel good. sometimes self-care is that sister telling you the truth in love.
When
And for
she
me, it was
leaned
when
back,
I
like
told my sister, when my
she leaned
godmother
back,
told me, "You're too busy. You're too
when she
busy."
leaned back and she was like, sis, I was like, oh.
And she said the sis, that's another indicator. Sis. But I thank God for my truth tellers. You thank God for people that will speak the truth and love to you, because part of self-care is accountability. Sometimes it's having a hard conversation that will ultimately save your life.
And it did. When she leaned back in that chair and she said, sis,
Mm-hmm.
what are you really doing? Who is this for? Because clearly you trying to save everybody is something that we gonna have to tap into,
Mm-mm.
because it's something, are you saving them or saving you? And I was like,
Yeah.
she was like, sis.
Mm.
And I was like, so
that.
I was like, okay, put me back down in 2 weeks. I'll be back.
I
And she's
love
like,
it.
oh, no, before you go, no, ma'am, here's your homework. Yeah, you and this homework.
I know exactly.
You and this
Yeah.
homework. She's like, because
Therapist
I
and I are
want
the
you to
same.
she said, because I want you to highlight the moments this strong woman showing up.
Yep. That's real
Yes, ma'am.
talk.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Reverend Sheila, I know you are out in California enjoying your fabulous weekend with the most
Yeah.
amazing group of women that I already know they're fabulous. Ask me how I know.
Yeah. Ask me how I know.
Ask me how I know, because it's
Ask me how I
sisterhood
know.
month.
Sisterhood. It's sisterhood. This is sisterhood. This is March is our sisterhood month. This is sisterhood.
Mm-hmm.
This is sisterhood. We are forever connected.
It's the Delta
Forever
for me.
connected. Yes, it's the Delta for me.
I can't speak for nobody else, but it's the Reds for
It's
me.
the red. Yeah, it is. It
Hey,
is. And thank you for giving space for me to share the book, and just thank you for just space. So
thank,
appreciate.
thank you. So, Reverend Sheila, before we head out, are there any last words you'd like to share?
I do. I just want to remind everyone that you can make time for self-care. And I say in the morning, take time to breathe. Take time to breathe. And I close with, self-care is not a privilege. It is your divine right. You don't need an explanation. You don't need justification. You don't need to wait for an invite. Self-care overrules the decision that says that you're guilty if you take time for yourself. Self-care takes it and says, not guilty is the verdict. And you can't change that, because your care for your body, spirit, and soul is of the ultimate wealth. Not guilty. That just came to me today, this morning, as I was meditating. Self-care
So,
says, not guilty.
so for everybody that's watching tonight, if you are able and have the space and grace to do it, your assignment tonight is to go lay down.
Go lay
Find
down.
something on TV and go watch it.
Go lay down.
Get off your phone, and just be in the moment with your circle.
Yes.
Be in the moment. That means while you're watching a movie, you're gonna put your phone down. So then that way you don't have to rewind it and hear what they just said.
Watch moving.
You're gonna watch the movie.
I
And
love
in the
it.
middle of the movie, you're not gonna do this. Y'all see that?
Exactly.
Y'all see that? 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 You're gonna watch the movie and enjoy the space with your loved ones.
I said, get off
Family
the
is not
Facebook
just
and do face-to-face looks. Get off Facebook and do face-to-face. Yep.
not just, family by blood, but family that you created. Be with them and connect.
Exactly.
So that, Dr. Reverend Sheila, I'm going to go back to building this little fort that I have back here with me and my little nephew. His little fort is behind me.
I love it. I love it.
So we're going to resume forts and talking about Star Wars, because that's my kindred spirit. So I'm going to go back to making a fort.
I love it. I love it.
He's used all my workout equipment to make a fort.
I love it. I love it.
And so today he asked me, because I do step aerobics during the week. he asked me, were we going to do step aerobics today?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, it's our rest day. He was like, but we're going to do it tomorrow. Yes, we are definitely doing step aerobics tomorrow. So I'm going back to build a fort. Beautiful, Sora. You have a great weekend. And
Thank you so much.
bye, beautiful.
Self-care. Bye-bye.
All right, see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.